What's up guys, it's Noah. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to show you one of my recent chess games, and I'm pretty sure this is one of the best tactical games I've played in a while. Let's get into it. Alright, here we go. I'm playing with the black pieces, and my opponent is playing with the white pieces, and as you can see they are at a rating of 921 now, and I was at a rating of 892 at the time of playing. I was actually a little bit lower. I was maybe 883 and they were 930. They start out with d4, and I wanted to counter with a, I believe this is the Queen's Gambit decline, but they didn't actually go for that. And yeah, I mean, I didn't make any opening blunders. I'm not going to focus on the opening too much, because I didn't play incredibly well in the opening, but like, as you can see, I didn't play horribly in this position. Yeah, I mean, I played pretty well in general. As you can see, the computer wants the knight for bishop trade, which I thought was okay in my position. I would just take back with the queen and then long castle. I thought that was pretty strong. Yeah, now I've got this weird pawn formation. We're about, I don't know how many moves we're in, but I have 2 minutes off my clock and I've got this weird position. But basically what I'm going to want to do in the end is play this move. And just really attack the center, because if not that. Pawns can't move like knights. If it takes, then I take, and if they take, then I have this really strong bishop with all 4 of these pawns just gone. And my bishop just stares down these 2 diagonals in the middle of the board, and I think that's really strong. Because it ends up pinning both of these pawns. So yeah. Well, maybe not this one because it's guarded by the rook, but this one definitely cannot move, so... yeah. I do get this move. The computer doesn't really like this move, but I mean, as you can see over here by the evaluation, it's only plus 0.7 for white, so like I'm not in a bad shape at all. Definitely still winnable. And now I push this pawn because I wasn't exactly sure what to do here. The computer just wants me to get out and castle long. What I wanted to do was go hit the queen. And my opponent, I don't know why, I think they just saw this pawn push and they're like, oh, that seems like a pretty good idea, let me do that. But basically what I wanted to do was go attack the queen, and that's ended up what I did. And I came back and attacked the queen again, and then I kicked the queen out. Now I push this pawn and I kick the queen way out. If it can come to here, but I mean, not ideal. I just bring the rook and it's kind of messy. Actually, I think it's trapped if I bring the rook there. I think this actually moving the queen forward is a blunder. Maybe not. No, it definitely is, because it can't come here. Can't come forward. Any squares. Yeah, and it can't go. Alright, it can't. Yeah, I can't go diagonally to any of these squares because of the queen. So yeah, they make the best play and they just drop the queen back. Now I bring my queen. Although it still wants me to go attack the queen with my rook on this file. Which, it's not a bad move. It would leave the queen kind of in a corner, but now I castle, and now I bring this rook. Okay, my opponent, back up 1 second. My opponent offered the bishop on this square here, right? And I thought about taking, and I was like, is that trade super beneficial for me? Not really. I mean, it is, because then the rook has to come here, right? And the rook is kind of very inactive. It's super static, and I think I would have gotten a much better position from this. And as you can see, the computer wanted me to go take it. But I figured if this trade happens with my bishop and I end up with my queen on this square, and there's no bishop here, obviously, and then I have this big diagonal, I have this big diagonal, and I have this rook here. So, like, it's not the end of the world for me. And now, this would have been a really good move. I didn't actually see this at the time. I just wanted to get my king out of the way of this pin so I can move my bishop. And now they end up taking it. So now I take back, and they bring the rook. And I'm okay being taken here. I don't mind trading and taking the file. We have a little battle of pawns on this side of the board. And I'm trying to prepare this move, but I don't realize that. I mean, I do realize, but I'm just not really thinking straight, honestly. But in the end, what ends up happening is this pawn break kind of opens up the position a little bit, and it unbalances the pawns here, with this pawn being now super weak. And I kind of start to take advantage of that, and I push this pawn here because if they take that, my opponent ends up with 4 like doubled isolated pawns, and I'm completely fine with that. This bishop is hanging, so I've got to move the rook over. This is also a decent way to defend, which is actually what I do on the next turn after he moves his king forward, which I'm not really sure what that was, but I take first, and then they take back, and now I bring the rook forward. And this apparently was a really, really bad move. Apparently they should have opted to keep their rook here, and trade on my terms, if I wanted to trade or not. Which I think, I mean, that makes sense. What I probably would have done was brought the queen just 1 square and hit the rook that way. But yeah, they take, and now I don't actually know why this is such a rough play, or a rough position. I bring my king, and then this is a blunder here. I should just go for this pawn. And go hunt the king down, but I do not. So because if I go here and I take this pawn is pinned because of the bishop, so I can't actually go. So I just free pawn essentially. But I was so fixated on getting here and x-raying the queen, and as you can see, the king moved over a square before that. Yeah, I just missed that completely. And yeah, I don't know why this is a missed win for my opponent, actually. Let me look at this. I go here. I guess after here, I guess this pawn is just hanging, right? So I've got to bring my queen, and then the bishop comes in, and it just kind of gets nasty. But yeah, the queen could have just torn apart my whole position, but I kind of missed that a little bit. But now I bring my king, and this is almost a blunder because of this move. And again, this move just kind of wins the game, this queen move, hitting the pawn. But this move scared me because I was like, well, my queen is trapped. I can't go here. I get hit by the bishop and I drop down. I get hit by the rook, and anywhere along the line, I get hit. Obviously, I can't come to this square because it's guarded by the pawn. So my queen is trapped, right? So I'm thinking, okay, can I sack my queen? Is there anything I can do? And then I realize that this bishop is on this diagonal. So I sacrifice the bishop, and I go in the rook. And then from there on out, it's just kind of a cleanup. I don't make any really poor moves until the end, but I started making those because what was actually my best move here? Okay, bring the rook as well. That makes sense. I forgot that this file was open. If I'd done that, the game would have been over very quickly, I think. But yeah, I mean, at this point, okay, this was a mistake, but I'm still, as you can see, I'm still very, very, very comfortably ahead with a minus 5.7. My opponent has 9 seconds left on their clock, as you can see up here. So I was just trying to like pace out moves very quickly so that my opponent couldn't have time to think about anything. And as you can see, they started making some knock rate moves, and this is a really bad play, and it turns out, just because it hangs a rook. But as you can see, I played it, let's go back. I played it in 2 seconds. So here I have 24 seconds, and here I have 22. I played it really quickly because my opponent has 2 seconds left. So I just wanted to end the game, and I mean, that was that. And then my opponent lost on time. But I was very, very proud of my kind of escape route out of this scenario, right? Where was it? B, right? Right here. I was super proud of this move. Bishop takes c3, and after the king moves, the queen takes the rook. And I didn't think, I was pretty confident in my ability to win this game. Yeah, just outside of that, I was pretty confident in my ability to win the game. Up a rook, up an exchange, and then I think I was down a pawn. Was I down a pawn? No, I was not. I wasn't down a pawn anymore. Because I got the pawn for the bishop. So I was up an exchange, a full exchange, and I was pretty confident in my ability to win this, but I thought the tactic to get there was very cool, just keeping the bishop on that diagonal the whole time. I thought it would pay off eventually, and it ended up doing so, and I won the game because of it. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this this chess recap, then leave a like on the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.